So I have been working on this painting with watercolors with Kateri Ewing DVD course, I suppose. And I guess I'll show you from in the order she does the projects in. So there's the basic landscape, basic seascape, expressive mixed media, and then botanical style flower, and finally detailed bird. So I'll show you what I did with the landscape first, which did not work out very well, but there's my landscape. The worst thing is the clouds. I couldn't get those right at all. And finally, I just pretty much gave up on things. But I'll see if I have time to try that again before I return this. I don't know if I will. So after that, the next one was the seascape. I didn't do them in this order, but I got the clouds really well there. And I haven't finished the water or anything yet. I don't know. I'll have to do something there. I saw a bit of a white line, so I wanted to, but that's too much. And then the waves, I don't know how I'm going to work these yet. But yeah, I think that's going pretty well. And then the next one, expressive mixed media, and I didn't really do that entirely right, but I did a jellyfish, and I was thinking about this time when I took James on a trip to PEI near when we were first dating, and there were this park where I used to go when I was a little kid. It was wonderful. I think it was called Fantasyland back then, but it was called King's Castle when we went there, and anyway, there used to be deer there when I was a little kid, and it was so wonderful. But anyway, there's a part where the water comes in, and you can go out to play in it if you like to. And there's jellyfish, and there's the white ones there. And unfortunately, somebody had put up a fish farm there. And it was not like when I was a little kid. It was awful. And all the jellyfish, they couldn't stand the current from this stupid jerk with his motorboat running up and down the thing. And it was pushing all the jellyfish to the shore, and there were just dead jellyfish all along the shore. It was so sad. So anyway, I was thinking about that when I did that. And botanical style flower. Oh, that one's over here. So I tried that, and then honestly, I really wasn't watching my image at the end. I was just playing around, but I'm pretty happy with that. So that's my flower, and my bird. James is happy with the bird. That's the last one, but I'm not that happy with that bird. I'm gonna have to do that bird again. Just practice him a few times. But what I did, I am happy with this. So I did the basic style of dropping in, like doing the wash with the water and then dropping in the colors as you want them, you know, like how you do for the sky. But I did it with purples and greens too. Because what I'm doing is I'm putting lilac branches here. These are going to be flowers, and then the leaves. And I wanted it to look like, in the distance, just some colors of lilac and green, so it looks like it's in the landscape, right? So we'll see how that ends up working out. I'm pretty happy with that, actually, and I'm going to end up doing that in for here. This one was a picture. I just saw this picture on the internet of the sky, and the clouds were coming up like this, and it didn't quite work out like their photograph. But I'm still pretty happy with it. And for here, I'm going to do the flowers in that sort of style with just a few in the front that I can make out detail with. So I think that'll work out pretty well. And I'm also going to use that technique for here. So I did the sky with the regular watercolors as I should. And then really, I was playing around with this with the watercolor pencils because I was procrastinating about actually doing the projects as I was supposed to with mixing the watercolors and then putting them on. So, I'd spent a lot of time on this. When this takes, this I was spending days on. And this takes a matter of minutes to do. So it was just, that's really the hardest part for me. And I think that's for every adult, honestly. I think once we get to be about 10 years old, we don't want to fail. So it's hard for us to actually do something, to try something new, because we're so afraid of failing at it. And it's, we have this, I guess we develop sort of, too much confidence, I think, in our abilities, and we don't want to shatter that image that we make of ourselves. It didn't fall, it just sort of propped itself up there. So anyway, that's really why I think doing art is so important. There's a number of different reasons. First, you notice, like, I didn't draw myself very well there. That doesn't look like me. And my dad, I got him looking a little bit more like my dad. But anyway, you realize that your brain sees things a lot differently than it actually is. So that's important to keep reminding yourself of that you should try to see things properly. And another thing is, it helps you continue to learn. James was pointing this out earlier. We were having a discussion about it. He was talking about how he's learning Mayan now, and I was overhearing him talking to somebody about it, and I guess he knows, he's taken 25 different languages at the university now, and he's just amazing at it. So he was talking about how many Mayan words that he's memorizing every week, and it's amazing, actually. And so he's really picking up the language as he does. I mean, he's awesome at languages. And he said to me that he thinks it's just a lie that we've encouraged ourselves to believe, that you only learn things quickly when you're a little child. And I think this is why you're so afraid of making mistakes and feeling foolish. Like when you're a little kid, you make mistakes and you feel better when you get things right. And so eventually we don't want that feeling of feeling like we don't know everything, feeling like we actually need to learn. And so it keeps us from learning. And so it's important to actually force yourself to do things like art, like watercolors. I mean, Katira Ewing makes it look so easy when she's doing it, and it's not going to be when you're going to try to do it. But it's probably not as hard as you're thinking it is in your mind, and unless you do it, you're a failure. You're failing until you actually try. So it teaches you to keep learning. Doing things that remind us of, like when we do artwork, we're reminded of being a little kid and learning, and it keeps you in that position. So I think doing art like this is most important, and this is the best watercolor course I have ever come across. She's amazing. You can see that she can do, you can see that butterfly in the background, and when you see it on the screen, it's very detailed. She can paint anything. And she is such an excellent teacher and such a wonderful person. I mean, honestly, I would like to own this DVD so that I could just run it in the background of my life all the time and have her talking away gently, and really encouragingly. Like, anybody could learn how to paint watercolors from her. She is such an excellent teacher and a wonderful person. I mean, when she's talking about this bird, she calls him him, and at one point she's talking about how she's painted on some little gray feathers underneath his belly, and she says belly in a really sweet way, and she always refers to him as him, and so he's a little person, and when she paints him, he comes to life. And you can see that that's how she looks at everything. It's really beautiful. So definitely everybody needs to take this, borrow this out of the library. I borrowed it from, where did it come from? I'm not certain. Yellowhead Regional Library. So I suppose that would be in Edmonton somewhere. Anyway, this is wonderful. It's a wonderful experience, and it's great to keep learning. It's important for people to make sure that they do something that reminds them of learning when they were a little child, so that they can continue to learn as an adult.